Summer I'm teaching a course called Digital and Media Literacy. I'm teaching the high level course. There are 3 sections. There's a high, a mid, and a low. So I have students put in the class based on oral communication levels from levels 4 to 6. Actually, I have one level 3. So I have 3, 4, 5s, and 6s in my class.
And how would you, just for people not familiar with the system, how would you describe a 6? And
the levels go from
terms.
1 to 7. So basically you phase out of the program at level 7. So my course, as you'll see in the video, is my group brother is pretty communicative. Their listening and speaking levels are pretty high.
Okay.
So the course has 3 sort of areas. There's content, there's some critical thinking and metacognitive objectives, and then there are some language objectives. So the content objectives are to explore the concepts of digital and media literacy, so exploring issues of the media bias, issues of digital tools, digital life. The first unit we did was on your digital identity and your online presence, so we covered content in that area. The metacognitive and critical thinking skills are pretty much a digital and media literacy set of skills involving source evaluation, critical listening, and critical reading. And then that leads us into the language objectives, which involve solidifying and strengthening some of their reading strategies, writing strategies, and monologic and dialogic discourse. So they're doing some presentations and then a good amount of conversation in class.
Okay. And before you tell us about today's lesson, just tell us a little bit about the students themselves, where they come from and where they're headed.
So I have a group of 8. It's actually a really interesting mix. We have, I think, 4 that are returning and 4 that are new. So four of these students are brand new to the ESL program. 4 of them just arrived 2 weeks ago. So they range in L1s and in nationality. We have a student from Turkey, Kazakhstan, Korea. We have 3 from Brazil on a program, on an exchange program. And then we have a student from Saudi Arabia and Thailand. So pretty diverse in terms of L1s and country of origin. We have, like I said, they're pretty communicative, pretty comfortable. One of the students, the student from Thailand, is actually going to Middlebury, studying environmental science. And so she is going to be a junior, I think, at Middlebury. So her comfort in English language environments is pretty high. They're all planning to go back into university settings after this program, so that's why the whole critical literacy component is pretty important to most of them. Finding out how to do research better online, how to find good sources for paper writing and research writing, and things like that. So academic interests range from, we have one who studied moral education in Turkey and is a moral education teacher in Turkey, has a background in religious studies. We have a student who wants to go into school for international relations, as I mentioned, environmental science, a variety of areas. Okay, so let's watch this real fast, and then Ezra and the other people that read can help us today with some of the vocabulary from that.
Standards Agency's statements that they're particularly looking into the offence caused by the Go Home slogan. Now we know that for a lot of people that's brought back terrible memories of the last Go Home campaign we had in this country, which was of course orchestrated by the National Front in the 1970s. I think the Home Office have to really think carefully before they use this kind of language and you know the ASA's investigation just shows the level of upset it's caused. We actually think the Home Office's actions in using this sort of rhetoric are potentially unlawful. The Home Office is under a duty, a public sector equality duty, to have regard to the need to foster good relations between different groups in our community and to limit and eliminate discrimination. And we feel that using vans with this kind of rhetoric plastered on their sides really flies in the face of that duty. It was a sort of cheap stunt which has really backfired for them. You know, it's been roundly condemned by those across the political spectrum, and also, of course, by the public, and the social media backlash has been huge, in addition to those who've actually gone to complain to the ASA about this. We'd like to see, obviously, an investigation into these you know, very serious allegations, and we'd also like to see the Home Office act on this. We don't want to see these vans back on the streets. We want them to learn a very clear lesson from this debacle.
Oh, all right.
The government, and the other message we think, the government is taking care.
A chain?
Yeah, it's kind of
chain.
yeah.
I'll write it up, 1 second. Handcuffs.
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 Oh. Can we call it bracelet?
What is
No.
In the movies, I heard that policemen call it bracelet.
Well, yeah, and I think there's an older usage of handcuffs that is bracelet, but in modern usage we're going to call them handcuffs. All right, so we have 2 possible messages, and maybe this first one isn't that good if they can't understand it. If most of you thought it meant, you know, go inside.
But I think this is the actual message, because here's not your home, go to your own home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so go to your home. How would we finish that sentence to make it clear? Home.
Home country.
Home country, okay? But this is in the news, this was in the news a lot, and it's likely that people knew what this was about. But good points.
Officers have to really think carefully before they use this kind of language and you know, the ASAs.
Okay, so we'll finish off with one more message. What is maybe the woman who's speaking? What do we call somebody like that who's giving a message? What could we call her? A messenger. Okay. A speaker. Okay. She's a spokesperson for an organization. So this time, we're talking about
Spokesman.
Yeah. But this is more inclusive now, because it includes men and women, right? So what's her message? Ezra, what's her message?
Oh, I think she wants to say, go home. This kind of language is not good, and it should be changed.
And she said it's discrimination.
Yeah. She says we need to be careful about this statement, and she also talks about eliminate discrimination. So maybe she's against this.
She's clearly very, very against this campaign, right? So I think her message might be go home campaign. The go home campaign is discrimination, or is discriminatory, or is bad. More simply, okay? So, we're going to look at 3 different concepts that the first video that I showed you talked about. Priming, framing, and agenda setting. Together, lots of people who talk about the media call these media effects. So these 3 things are 3 strategies. What's a strategy? A way, a method, right? 3 ways or methods of achieving a certain effect on perception, judgment, and behavior. Okay? These are the 3 ways people say the media affects or attempts to affect your perception, judgment, and your behavior. Trying to get you to think a certain way, see things a certain way, or do things a certain way, or do certain things, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to hand out, who has heard of fracking? Beam. Oh, the environmentalist. Okay. So, Beam, can you tell us what fracking is?
So basically, it is the way we have to do it.
gas from the ground by using the pressure to like crack the shell rock. So because so they use like sand plus water to push to crack the rock, and the gas can release out.
You mean like fill in the...
So underground, there are big deposits of natural gas. And what these companies do is they stick basically big rods in the ground, and they emit water and sand, and then it creates cracks. And the gas goes through the cracks, and then we pull the gas up and we use it. Okay, so it's a method of getting natural gas out of the ground. Okay, we're going to watch 2 different videos. And we're going to first do the part at the top.
Colorado is sitting on vast reserves of shale. They can provide huge amounts of oil and natural gas through an environmentally safe process called fracking. It's proven reliable for more than 60 years, and it can boost our energy independence today and tomorrow. It means jobs for Colorado and gets us more tax revenue for our schools, parks, and roads. We're Coloradans for responsible energy development, and we're going the extra mile.
Hi, this is James Taylor. I grew up in North Carolina, and from Murphy to Manio, it is one of the most beautiful states in the nation. I'm concerned that big oil and gas are pushing the governor and the legislature to allow reckless fracking. Fracking is dirty and it's dangerous. It can poison drinking water, and the chemicals in fracking fluid are known to cause cancer. Carolina's always in my mind, so please join me and let's stand up to fracking. Thank you.
Colorado is sitting on vast reserves of shale. They can provide huge amounts of oil and natural gas through an environmentally safe process called fracking.
Oh, yeah, let's take the first. I think it's the way we can choose.
On the road. On the road. Okay, so positive, neutral, negative. What do we have for positive for on the road?
Safe. Reliable. Yes.
Okay.
Development.
What else?
Development.
Development. Okay.
Possible. Responsible.
Responsible.
Is it positive?
Yeah.
Responsible.
I would say that generally it's better to be responsible than irresponsible.
Right.
So it generally has a positive connotation.
Independence. Yeah,
I think it's neutral.
In independence,
Yeah.
you think it's neutral.
Yeah.
Okay. So these two, you guys could be neutral. Okay. So independence. What do you think?
No, I meant independence.
Oh, you think independence?
Independence is neutral.
But the previous ones are definitely, I think, positive.
Definitely positive. Development. It doesn't have to be, because for instance, you could, the development of a cancer,
Right.
or the development of a disease, I mean, so it's not always positive, but I think in this case it's definitely meant to be positive.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I think 3 of them is depends on the topic.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. But we see mostly positive, right? How about neutral? Any neutral? Any definitely neutral?
West.
Huh?
West. West.
Waste.
Vast.
Vast.
Vast. What does vast mean? Fran.
I don't know. Enormous.
Enormous.
Yeah.
Really big. Far-reaching. Vast.
Vast.
Okay. What else? Neutral?
Huge.
Huge. Not positive?
But it's
No? Okay. Could be
depends
both.
on the topic too.
Okay.
So
Okay. Huge.
booster.
Boost.
Boost.
Yeah, we
you on neutral.
I think I just...
To make bigger.
Oh. I don't know why it's related in my mind to oil and gas. Boost.
Is it related in your mind?
Yeah.
To boost production is a very common collocation. To boost production of oil and gas. You'll hear that a lot in the news. So that might be why.
And we missed a word.
Yeah, we missed
Revenue.
Revenues. So are revenues good or bad?
Good.
I don't know.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, Kwan, what does revenue mean?
It's like profit, right? Profit from
The money coming in.
Yeah.
The money coming in.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So any negatives?
No.
No.
Yeah, because
Okay. Next one. So the next one was standing up. All right. Positive, neutral, negative. Okay. How about positive?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. What else? Anything else?
I think it's only a word.
Okay. Any others? No? No more? Okay.
No, join.
Join.
No, I think it's
Join.
neutral.
I think
You can join. It's just a verb. Join. You can join everything.
I think it could be either. But I think, like Kwan said, you could join anything.
Yeah.
You could join a bad group. You could join,
The bad group will be happy because you're joining them.
No.
fair enough. Fair
I'm
enough.
talking about
Turkey.
the join.
Good point. Okay, so we'll say it could go either place. Okay. Neutral. Anything definitely neutral.
Regular.
Big. We're saying everything can be big, bad thing and good thing. And we have some little dispute with
Okay.
Bim,
What's the
regarding the chemicals.
Uh-huh.
I think that it's neutral, but Bim thinks it's negative.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a poll. Who thinks chemicals is neutral? 1, 2,
I
3,
think
4.
in this situation it has a
Yes,
but the chemicals are not
Okay.
wrong.
Yeah, I know.
That's my major.
Okay, right, so we have chemistry and environmental science. Okay, and both of you, oh no, so you agree.
You think it's...
Me too.
Wait, so I forget, Nayara, you think it's negative?
Yeah.
In this situation,
Yeah.
I think so, but chemicals.
In general.
Definitely not.
Okay, not necessarily
Yeah.
bad. So, again, we'll go chemicals.
They used the wrong word.
Yeah, I agree with you. In this text, it's a negative, I think, but in general, it's neutral.
Okay, what else negative? What else is negative?
Cancer.
Yeah.
Dirty. Cancer.
Poison.
Dangerous.
Poison.
Dangerous.
Dangerous. What else?
Reckless.
Reckless. What does reckless mean? Beam. Not responsible.
Not responsible?
Not responsible. Yeah, without thinking. Careless.
Careless.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Poison.
Poison, dangerous, reckless, cancer, dirty. Okay? Alright, can most people see that?
Yes.
Okay, so we only have one here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending, so 5 or 6. Different,
Yes.
Yes.
right? So who's in favor of, which one of these ads is pro-fracking? So fracking, good.
First one.
On the road.
On the road.
On the road. Okay? So what kind of words do they use more?
Safe.
Safe.
Reliable.
Yeah, positive words. Okay, this video was anti-fracking. Fracking is bad. What kind of words do they use?
Negative.
Okay. So, what is the message? I guess I just kind of gave it away. But what's another way of saying the message of this ad, the pro-fracking ad? What's the message?
Fracking is good.
Fracking is good, and let's be simple, let's keep it simple for this one.
Fracking is not good.
Okay. So those are the simple messages, right? So, through the selection of information talking about fracking, these two organizations, I should have said, On the Road to Energy Independence was published by an organization called Coloradans for Responsible Energy Development. The other ad was produced by the National Resource Defense Council. Okay, they're an environmentalist group, or environmental group. Okay? Don't they kind of sound the same? National Resource Defense Council, Coloradans for Responsible Energy Development. They're all kind of like vague words, right? And they both sound pretty positive, right? But they're representing very different things. Okay?
Different styles.
And different styles, right? So they both framed, the word we use when we talk about media, is they're framing the issue. The issue is fracking, right? So how is the National Resource Defense Council, the one that did the Standing Up video, how are they framing, you can use the words on the, how are they framing the issue of fracking? How are they characterizing it, describing it?
Very dangerous, can cause cancer, can poison things.
Yeah, it's reckless, it's dirty, it's dangerous. Really strong words, right? So that's how they're framing fracking. How is the organization that published the video On the Road, how are they framing fracking?
Safe, reliable.
Beneficial.
Happy. Happy words, nice sounding words. Words you would want to say, you know, for a bit. You almost use these words a lot for like babysitters. Right? If you want someone to watch your kids, you want them to be safe, reliable, responsible, independent, right? And that's how, those are the words they're using to describe getting natural gas with big drills in the environment. Right? The same words you would use to describe babysitters. Okay? So these are three different ways that end up in affecting your perception. So how you view fracking, whether you think it's a good idea. Your judgment, whether you decide to support a politician who says, I love fracking, or I hate fracking. Your judgment about that politician. And then your behavior. Maybe whether you go out and vote, or go study environmental science, or chemistry, or something. Right? Okay. So we're going to continue talking about these things next week because this is the beginning of the critical literacy stuff that we're doing. Not just listening to a message, but thinking about, you know, maybe what the source is trying to get us to do. Right? How they're communicating that message. Okay. Let's see, what do I want to do next? Okay, we're going to spend some more time talking about our logos and slogans. Okay? So what I'm going to do is we're going to do a little activity. We're going to have to be in fours today because I screwed up cutting out the logos. So if you four can group together, and then if maybe you two can scoot next to Turkey.
Picture.
Okay, what is the picture supposed to do?
Inspire.
A symbol. Maybe it inspires you to do something. Right? What's a slogan?
Slogan. Short phrase. It has a topic. Important topic.
Okay, yeah, it's a short phrase and they're often connected to a logo. Okay? So all of these are company logos and slogans. Alright, so you have a bunch of them. You're probably not going to have enough time to get through all of them. But I want you to think about The company, if you don't know the company or if it's really confusing, try to guess. But you can ask me. Yeah, Brune is laying them out. Think about what kind of message that company is trying to communicate. And try to connect those messages. Because oftentimes the message of the logo and the message of the slogan have some kind of connection. They're big screen 3D movie theaters. So they have these big, big screens, and they do a lot of 3D movies now. So they're movie theaters.
How's Rainbow? Rainbow. Do you see anything about Rainbow? I think it's about...
I know. Yeah, think big. Think big. Think big is for
This one, maybe?
yeah, maybe, or Google.
Think small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think big.
Innovation? I thought, no.
Maybe
I think
This group that's super confident. Turkey's Mr. Confidence over here.
You know all the brands.
that's true.
Alright? So Turkey, give us one that you're sure of.
So, this Volkswagen. We sell more cars than Ford.
No, it's
Really?
no, it's not correct.
We sell more cars.
No, it's
No,
not.
no.
Not.
Okay.
Maybe outside, based inside, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay, so what is the logo that goes with
Matchbox.
Matchbox? Now why, Quan?
Because it's
They're the little cars.
toy cars.
They sell a lot more toy cars than real cars.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay, how about for Volkswagen? Who thinks
Maybe
that?
outside, based inside, maybe.
Could be. They might like that one. I think actually this was in a trivia contest. I was at a trivia contest a couple of weeks ago, and this was one of the questions: was what was Volkswagen's, or was the slogan? And it's actually think small.
Think
Think
small.
Yeah, because they're smaller cars.